Join me as I dive deep into the controversial referee decisions surrounding Caitlin Clark in 2024 and see if I can uncover the shocking truth behind it all. Caitlin Clark is a name that's been making waves in the sports world, and her incredible skills on the court have earned her a huge following. But amidst all the excitement and admiration, there's been a growing controversy surrounding referee decisions that have left many fans and pundits scratching their heads. As we dive into the 2024 season, it's hard to ignore the elephant in the room. Are these decisions affecting the game's outcome? And more importantly, is Caitlin Clark being unfairly targeted? The 2024 season has been a wild ride, with Caitlin Clark consistently pushing the limits of what's possible on the court. But with great performance comes great scrutiny, and it's not long before we started seeing referee decisions that left many questioning their impartiality. Was it just a coincidence, or was something more sinister at play? As we explore this controversy further, it's essential to understand the context in which these decisions were made. One thing's for sure, the 2024 season will be remembered for years to come, and Caitlin Clark's performances will be etched in the memories of fans worldwide. But as we celebrate her achievements, we can't help but wonder, what role did the referees play in shaping the season's narrative? In the coming minutes, we'll be delving deep into the heart of this controversy, and I invite you to join me on this journey as we uncover the truth behind these questionable decisions. From the get-go, it was clear that Caitlin Clark was on a mission to dominate the 2024 season. Game after game, she consistently pushed her opponents to their limits, leaving fans and commentators alike in awe. But as the season progressed, a pattern started to emerge. Caitlin Clark was getting a raw deal from the referees, and it was starting to affect the game's outcome. The question on everyone's mind was, why was this happening? Fast forward to some of the most pivotal moments of the season, and it's clear that Caitlin Clark's performances were being stifled by questionable referee calls. Fans were on the edge of their seats as she drove to the basket, only to be foiled by a dodgy foul call. Commentators were left scratching their heads as she was repeatedly denied clear layups, all due to some mystifying whistle-happy referee. Game after game, the pattern continued. Caitlin Clark would dominate the court, only to be undone by a series of questionable decisions that left everyone questioning the referee's motives. The fans were furious, the commentators were baffled, and Caitlin Clark herself was left shaking her head in disbelief. It was clear that something was amiss, and it was time to take a closer look. In this game, Caitlin Clark was on fire, dropping 30 points and leading her team to a thrilling comeback victory. But it wasn't without its controversies. A series of questionable foul calls left her frustrated, and the commentators were vocal in their criticism of the referees. "That's not a foul," they cried, as Caitlin Clark was sent to the line for what seemed like an innocuous contact. As the season progressed, these instances piled up, and it became clear that Caitlin Clark was being targeted by the referees. The fans were incensed, the commentators were outraged, and even Caitlin Clark herself was left wondering what she had to do to get a fair shot. It was like the referees had declared open season on her, and it was time to take a stand. But it wasn't just the fans and commentators who were upset, the players themselves were starting to speak out. In a post-game interview, Caitlin Clark's teammate expressed his frustration at the constant nitpicking by the referees. "It's like they're looking for reasons to call fouls on us," he said, his voice trembling with anger. "It's not fair, and it's affecting the way we play." As the pressure mounted, the referees began to come under intense scrutiny. Fans took to social media to express their outrage, and even the league itself started to take notice. But despite the growing chorus of discontent, the referees remained resolute. They were doing their job, and they wouldn't be swayed by public opinion. One game stood out above the rest, the championship decider between Caitlin Clark's team and their arch-rivals. It was a game for the ages, with both teams giving it their all in a thrilling display of basketball prowess. But as the clock ticked down, it became clear that this game would be decided by the referees, not the players. In the dying seconds of the game, Caitlin Clark drove to the basket, only to be fouled by an opponent. The whistle blew, and the crowd held its breath as the referee made his call. But in a stunning turn of events, he waved off the foul, declaring that Caitlin Clark had initiated contact. The crowd was stunned, the commentators were aghast, and Caitlin Clark herself was left shattered. The outcome of the game was all but sealed, and as the final buzzer sounded, the crowd erupted in outrage. It was a scandal of epic proportions, and the fallout was immediate. The league launched an investigation, the referees were hauled over the coals, and Caitlin Clark's team was left to pick up the pieces. In the aftermath, the reactions were swift and brutal. Fans took to social media to vent their anger, and even the normally calm and collected Caitlin Clark was left fuming. "It's a joke," she said in a post-game interview. I've never seen anything like it. The referees need to take a hard look at themselves and ask if they're really doing their job. As the dust settled, one thing became clear: the 2024 season would be remembered for years to come, not just for Caitlin Clark's incredible performances, but for the controversy that surrounded them. It was a season that raised more questions than answers, and as we look back on it all, one thing is certain: the referees will be under intense scrutiny in the years to come. So what do you think, guys? Do you think the referees were unfairly targeting Caitlin Clark, or was it all just a big coincidence? Let me know in the comments below, and if you want to see more analysis like this, be sure to check out my video on the top 5 most controversial moments of the 2024 season. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.